Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Brownstone. I'm your host, Dr. Michele, and you're listening to Numbers Don't Lie. We learn to get out your feelings so you can make the best decisions for yourself, your family, and your business. Guys, I'm super excited today because we have a very fun and relevant episode for all you guys that are out there dating, especially if you're online dating, because it's the new norm. A lot of us aren't going outside like we should. And, we're meeting people online from the comfort of our own home, our couch, wherever we are. And it has its ups and downs, it has its challenges, just like anything, any dating phase, whether you meet them in person or online, they all have their challenges. But this episode spawned from a bold statement that one particular online dating platform made. Now they all have their pros and cons. There's some that are known for hookup. There's some for known for long-term relationships. You just got to pick which one you want to do. But this particular one seems to have got their wires crossed. And so today we're going to talk to a relationship strategist. And she talks about this stuff all the time, actually right here on the Brownstone. So you've heard of her already. And if you haven't, you're going to know and love her. I met Marshaun probably a couple of years ago now, just in the same space. And we happened to both start podcasting on this network around the same time. And we finally have gotten together. So I'm really excited to hear her take on this marketing campaign. We're going to talk about the data part of it, but she got the love and the love part of it. I'm really excited about this conversation because I think sometimes when we get into marketing, we aren't being data focused enough. And it's like you have to know your audience. I hear that all the time in the business world. You have to know your audience. And so if you don't know them, you are bound to make a major blunder that sometimes you may or may not be able to recover from. So without further ado, I know I done got you all excited. Please welcome to the Numbers Don't Lie stage, Marshaun O.
Well. Thank you so much, Dr. Michele. Marshaun O here. You actually did pronounce it correctly. So thank you for having me. I'm really excited for this episode as well. Let's dive deep into it. Let's get the people excited, but also for them to understand exactly what happened during this campaign, this blunder, and where they went wrong. Because that's essentially what it boils down to, which is why they get so much backlash. So where did they go wrong, and how can they even move forward if that's possible?
They can.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get into it. So before we get too far into that, could you please tell the people why I had to call you for this? Because they're like, who is Marshaun? They want to know.
Perfect. Okay, so again, Marshaun O, I am a shift relationship strategist. I am the founder of Marshaun O Consulting, where I specifically help Black women to, I know we talk about self-confidence and self-esteem, but I really help you to clarify where you went wrong and why your self-esteem has either tanked or you've never given it the opportunity to blossom. Wow. And even your self-confidence, because all of that does matter with the people that you attract. And we literally attract where we're at. And so if you have low self-esteem, if you have low self-confidence, then you're absolutely going to attract a mate that has similar, if not the exact same. And then the other piece of it, so there is self-confidence, there is boosting the self-esteem. But the other part that I specifically work with Black women on is speaking softer to themselves. Because we have a tendency to be people pleasers. We put everybody on our priority list but ourselves.
Yeah.
And behind closed doors, what I'm finding with my clients is that a lot of times we're speaking really harsh, really mean to ourselves, not giving ourselves the same grace, the same mercy, the same empathy, and even sympathy that we would give to our great girlfriend. We're not applying that to ourselves behind closed doors. And so I try to help them to shift their the way that they're speaking about themselves, specifically behind closed doors, but also when you're showing up.
Yeah.
You have to make you the priority. And this is cliche, but it's so true. You cannot pour from an empty cup. So I help Black women specifically to shift and change how they are showing up in their relationship, their most important relationship which is the relationship with themselves. And if we are, and I find that they are in a romantic relationship, we talk about that, but we really have to get ourselves, the relationship with ourselves, in alignment before I can even go to the romantic side. So thank you so much for having me. I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
I love all of that. My sister, she's studying, she getting her PsyD in psychology. And I remember she said a phrase a while ago. She's like, don't talk to her like that. And she was talking like about yourself. And that's so when you said it, I'm like, yes, it makes so much sense because we are very hard on ourselves. I didn't even put it together that it's people pleasers, but it is like, whoo. So you are very much needed. And I'm glad that I have you on the show. So thank you again for deciding to visit us here on Numbers Don't Lie. So
Awesome.
you mentioned this blunder as well. So let's just go ahead and put it out there. So recently, Bumble, the dating app, it made the news for their ad. And this is, y'all, these are the exact words of the ad, okay? It was a picture of a young Black woman. And in big letters, this is a billboard, y'all. In big letters, it said, you know full well a vow of celibacy is not the answer. Full well, first of all, let's just talk about the vernacular. You know full well, so you talking to us.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think it was two ads. It might have been one with a wife, a woman. I couldn't find that one, but it was like the wording was a little different, but it was the same message. One had, urban vernacular. And so I want to talk to you, like, when you first heard this and saw this, what what do you think about this approach to try to push women away from celibacy?
That's the problem. That literally is the problem. Okay, so for any of you that are familiar with me, you know that I'm totally a Christian. And so I just take it to the Bible. God had it set up for us to be celibate.
Yeah.
So all of the things that we're experiencing, the emptiness, the hookup culture, this was not what God intended for us. So for Bumble, especially, since most of their demographic is Christians, they absolutely missed the mark on essentially telling us to follow them versus follow what God had in place. Now, we all make our choices and our decisions, and a lot of us are not or have not gone down the road to what God has said in the beginning. But at the same time, because it's so toxic, because we're still longing to be in long-term relationships and marriages and healthy at that, they're going in the opposite direction to just say, you know what, hooking up actually is fine. And unfortunately, the bottom line is that it's all about money.
Yeah.
So when they're only, or whoever decided to put this crazy campaign out there, and then that half-hearted apology, and now they're going to give money to the domestic violence, all of that's great, but that's after the effect.
After the fact, yeah.
It's after the fact. The other thing that I was going to say is that we've heard this before in the business world as any publicity is good. So this might even raise their numbers because this is in the news so much.
You see, they rage baiting.
I'm not going to say 100% that's what I think was going on, but it's a possibility. I'm not going to rule it out either. It could go either way. Maybe whoever did this is just horrible and they need to be fired. Or it could just be, well, we're number 2. So how can we get to number 1?
Yeah.
Go either.
So let me read a few statistics for the listeners. So because Marshaun, you just mentioned one. So Bumble, the app is considered more for dating than hookups, with 85% of users looking for either marriage or long-term relationship. So when I saw that, I was like, well, that doesn't seem to be on brand for y'all. Like that the messaging is very tender for me. It's giving very much tender. I'm like, so are you guys trying to turn into something else? But you just said something else that made me think about that cycle. So it's like this hookup culture, and it kind of keeps you in this cycle. So it's like, is that your strategy to keep people on the app by having people like, well, they got to keep coming back? It got my mind with so many ways.
I don't know if that's what's actually going on. Again, if it's the person that just really missed the mark, because as your show states, the numbers don't lie, right? So if what their data is showing, data is showing that they're more of a long-term relationship, then why not feed into that? And actually, they could have still used the word celibacy, but said something to the effect of celibacy is the answer, or anything without taking it away from celibacy is not the answer. Like it really is. That's why that's another reason why we have so many issues in our relationships, because we introduce sex too soon.
I agree. All right, so this was another one for y'all. So pretty much the ratio of men to women is actually opposite, because you go to college, especially HBCU, it's like 10-1 female to male. It's actually the opposite on Bumble. So it says there's a 3-1 male to female ratio on Bumble. And I don't know if you've been keeping up what's been going on in the world, Marshaun, but women today are not the same women from like 10 years ago.
Okay.
They're not like how our parents and grandparents were. They're not like a lot of them are trying to be done with men altogether. So what do you think this message sends to them, as far as like, go ahead and just give it on up? We don't care what you want. If you want a relationship, just go ahead and give it on up. Like,
again, it doesn't align with whoever was in charge previously and how they built the company. Let me say it that way. It doesn't align with how they built the company. And unfortunately, it does send a message that doesn't matter. You want a husband? Who cares? Have sex first. You want a long-term relationship? Who cares? Don't get to know this person. Just go out there and hook up, because that's what you should be doing. Allow yourself to just be out there. Forget about your wants, your needs, your desires. Look at life today. What could you get today? Forget about the long-term effects of all of this stuff. Because again, when we introduce sex too much, it clouds our vision. And a lot of the things that we would be able to walk away from sooner, we have a tendency to stay in these situationships and these unsatisfying relationships because we have engaged in sex too soon.
Yes. I agree.
And then we feel obligated. We have these expectations that were never discussed, but then we think that we're in a relationship when that was not at all the plan. And to be truthful, I get it if you're in that stage. I'm not knocking anybody. You do you. I'm gonna try my best to do me. I'm trying my best to do it God's way. But I wish I'd have did it the first way, the first time around. And it didn't happen that way. So I get the stage that even Bumble might have been thinking about, if you will. But at the same time, it's like, y'all really missed the mark on this one.
They did.
Y'all missed the mark on this one. You hurt some feelings for sure. And women, they were already trending away from just dating apps, period. And so you're making it even easier for them to make the decision. Hence, your bottom line is going to suffer anyway.
I'm like, and I looked up who the founder of Bumble was, and I heard it's a woman. I had to confirm, and it's a woman, and she's still the founder and CEO. I'm like, girl,
most of their company is women, female-based women. So
that's crazy. Like, what man got in y'all ear?
Well, they do have some there, and usually they become high-powered positions. Not to say that that's what's going on there, because I really don't know that part. But unfortunately, when we have a lot of things that fall through the cracks, that don't work well for women, or the final say, because I'm sure there was some pushback, at least hopefully. Like we had this discussion, hopefully. But bottom line, we running it. Let's see what happens.
Did you know that data-driven organizations were 19 times more profitable? 19. You heard me right. Perhaps you're asking, what is data-driven and how do I become one of those organizations? I'm so glad you asked. I want you to go take a quiz. It's a simple, quick quiz to help you assess if you are in fact one of those organizations. Head over to mogulbeginnings.com/data into dollars quiz now. That's mogulbeginnings.com. You can just go to mogulbeginnings.com and it'll show you the data into dollars quiz. Take it now. You'll see if you're on your way to 19xing your profitability. You're listening to Numbers Don't Lie on KCCR Cityscape, We hope you're enjoying the tunes and all the jams. Make sure you visit our website over at brownstoneworldwide.com to learn about all things Brownstone. You can check out Brownstone Living Magazine and all the great things that we have on the website, as well as the shop. You just got to head over to the website, brownstoneworldwide.com. Girl, I'm over here looking them up as we talk. So I just looked up their executive team, and there's an article that came out. It's open and came out like a kind of this new thing came out in February. So that when this thing open, we don't have to read this out loud, because I'm like, that kind of makes sense. If you kind of have like a new team, you got some new ideas that just happened that makes sense for something crazy like this to happen.
Yeah.
So I guess I kind of want to get back to, do you think they'll be able to bounce back from, because like you just said, from the direction that women have been going, they're trending away from men in general. I don't know if you guys have heard of the 4B movement. It's a group of women, I believe it's South Korea. They pretty much have a whole village with just no men allowed. Child, people was on TikTok talking about how bad it is. They were like, it's really not that many children in the elementary schools, because they are not dealing with me. Girl, it's bad. And so it's happening all over the world now. A lot of, if you go into, it was like the whole man versus bear discourse, and a lot of people, you just see 4B movement. And now a lot of the things that when women see men talking crazy online, they just say, I choose the bear, and they will move on. So like, this is where we are.
Wow.
This is where we are, but with the dynamics between man and woman. They're not just divesting from these apps. They're really making the decision to just be for themselves. They're like, you know what? It's me, my peace, my dog, my cat. I'm chilling. And women are okay with being by themselves. And so I guess I'm just coming from your expertise in this area. Like, do you think they'll be able to recover? Like, what would they have to do to like really win people's trust back?
I think over time. I don't think it's going to happen right now, because anything that they say and do is going to appear as if it's just because of this blunder. So it doesn't matter what they really do. It matters long term.
Yeah.
Right now, it's not going to matter what they do or say, because everything is going to seem like they're trying to cover up or not look bad, not lose money because of this previous campaign. So, but I do think over time, because they had such a stellar record, where the women were able to do the initial reach out, like they have a lot of great things going for themselves. So I think that they can recover, but they cannot go down a road such as this. Obviously, they need to do some more research. And again, as your show title, they need to look at their data. They need to look at their numbers and give the people what they want. And that's where I think that they missed the mark as well, because again, if your data shows you that the women are looking for more long-term relationships, why wouldn't you lean into that message? Celibacy is working for you. You know, whatever. I know that's marketing is not my area, but it can work for you. It is working for you. You're and pull out those statistics and interview some more people that are showing you can get a long-term relationship by being on our app.
Yeah.
We are different.
Hinge does a better job of that. I don't know if you've seen the commercials for Hinge. They're like, we're the app that's meant to be deleted. So they want people to get into relationships. And as you were talking, it made me think about, you said they head in the wrong direction. Like, that's not the direction. That's not what they sought out to do. Because you know who the number one spot is for the dating apps?
No, who is it?
Tinder.
Okay.
So it's like, are you trying? So it seems like they were maybe trying to compete with Tinder, because I pulled up their executive board, and it's probably 75% male, but their chief
at Bumble.
marketing.
Are we at Bumble? We're still talking about Bumble.
Yep.
Okay.
Sorry, I did mix. So Bumble, the page came up who their chief, their executive board is. Even though the board is mostly male, their chief marketing officer is a woman. So, child, I wish I was a fly on the wall.
But wait, she's new. If I'm not mistaken, this particular person is new.
She joined in 2020.
Okay. And so I know that they were trying to get more, again, raise their numbers, become number one. So I get that. But yeah, they really missed the mark on this one. It's unfortunate because they're already a trusted app. I
Yeah.
found out about Bumble through word of mouth, which we know is still the best way to do it. I actually found out about Hinge not too long ago, but by word of mouth.
Uh-huh.
So
Me too.
just understanding that people are spreading the word about you. If they stay the course, specifically in business, we all know this is a long-term game.
Yeah.
And so if they stayed the course, ride the rivers, ride the waves, whatever, and just ride it through, they could have become number one. But I think this helps them become 3 and maybe even 4 in the short term
Yeah. Yeah.
until they get their stuff back together and come out with better campaigns. And again, lean into the numbers that were already working. I did see a comment on one of their things where they were talking about giving the money to the domestic violence. Somebody put in there, we need to see your receipts.
Period. Don't just talk.
We need to see your receipts. So I thought that it was funny, but also just, again, dude, woman, whoever said yes to the bottom line, y'all definitely have to do better. Several campaigns, not just on the next one. They have to come up with several campaigns.
Right. It has to be a long-term campaign.
Yes. That's going to continuously rebuild trust, because we know it's so easy to lose that trust.
Yeah.
Literally, this thing
Yes.
right here is everything that they built from years ago is making everybody give them the side eye light.
Yes.
I don't know nothing about money anyway.
Yep. Because I mean, I thought you were going to say they need to stick to the rivers and the lakes that they're used to. But to me, they do. And it just makes my mind real when we think about business and wanting to become number one. And I'm like, but at what expense? Because at some point you're no longer being authentic.
Yeah.
And people can tell when you're not being off. It just comes off as cringy. It comes off like this. Cause it's like, but why would you be telling, like, people, we go up there for relationships. Same thing. If it's like, if Hinge were to do that, it'd be like, wait, hold on. But you want us to delete you because you want people to, it just seems very inauthentic. And I'm like, why? Stick to the rivers and lakes that you're used to.
That used to.
It's the same way with us in business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you're not being true who you are, people can see through that.
Yes.
Keeping it locked to KCCR Radio,
my station,
the Brownstone Center, and don't forget, no matter where you go, there we are.
I think we're living through a lot of trends just changing. Like the online presence itself is changing and shifting. And so that kind of goes back to just the natural business life cycle. Everything is not for always. And so Bumble, Tinder, Hinge, whatever, Match.com, people still on Match. Child.
I don't hear about it much, but that don't mean that they're not there. I don't hear about it much.
You know, all of them, like, if that is what the data is saying, if you're trending down and you don't see that upcoming, go ahead. Like, you need to start making decisions. Either you're gonna have to do a total pivot, or it's okay saying goodbye. And I think sometimes that sounds really hard, but I'm like, if you have made billions of dollars over the course of 20 years, you did a fantastic job. And it's okay that the trend is going, like, that the trend of your niche is just like fading away. It happens all the time. But it's like you have to get ahead of it, as opposed to all of a sudden we don't have business anymore. We're filing for bankruptcy. You got to lay off all these people. And I'm like, well, you saw that direction happening for 10 years or for 5 years or 3 years. Give these people opportunity, like, give them some satisfaction. Like, y'all might want to start looking for another job. But I'd rather you give me some time and let me know what's up, as opposed to one day I come in and it's all the whole building locked up.
Yeah, ain't nobody get in.
You couldn't go get your stuff.
It's not sexy, but then I was thinking about one of the things that they can actually do is even hybrid right now, because so many of us are craving that in person.
That's good.
The swiping right, again, is old, but I'm not saying that it's irrelevant altogether. So I have seen some apps, and this was years ago, but I don't think that it ever took off. The point is this, where monthly they would have a mixer, in-person mixer. So those people can come and actually meet in person. And I do think that it brings more of the vibe back. Again, that we crave, going to see these people in person where you're not necessarily dating them, but you get to see them in an environment and see how they interact with other people, as well as if chemistry would be there based off of you just talking. And then now you're making intentional time for the thing that you say matters to you.
That's good.
Because
I hope y'all
swiping
listening,
right,
Bumble.
well, because swiping right takes 2 seconds.
Yeah.
We do it at the we do it on toilet. Let's be real.
I was thinking that.
We do it on the toilet. We do it in between, like at stoplight. We do it on the elevator. So we have all of these where I'm not really deeply engaged, but because I got this notification and now my endorphins going up because of this, I want to see who it is. And it's like, I literally, I did that for this 2 minutes. You can't get this 2 minutes back. So they have to be more intentional and, like you said, get ahead of it sooner than later. But I do feel that there is an in-person crave. And especially since COVID happened, a lot of people still feel awkward in person.
Girl, you know what's so funny you say that? I actually feel awkward online. Like, I don't know. I'm in person, I'm very charismatic. I can really have a conversation with anybody. But online, I'm like, what am I supposed to say? Like, because I'm thinking about tone. Like, it's too much.
It is a lot. And that also translates, and side note, also goes into text messages as well. Because we can read into things that the tone was not what I said, but you read it.
That's how you read it.
You thought, yeah. So I think that takes away from the connection as well, because we don't know who we're really dealing with in this moment. The foundation was never laid.
Yes, that's good. We don't know. I don't know your personality, so I'm only assuming from my past experience what you meant by that. It's just like, well, if anybody knows me, no, I wouldn't. But it's like they don't. So that's girl, we can go on and on. This was so good. Y'all listen, Marshaun, tell them where to find you, because this was so great. And there's so many dynamics and so many things that happen and transpire that affect our dating life. And we just, a lot of times we're not aware of it. And we're just making and wondering why we keep getting the same mistakes or keeping the same results. And I'm like, it's all this other stuff that's swimming around. Part of it is due to hookup culture, but it's so many things that's due to our past experience that we're just holding on to. So they need to reach out to somebody like you.
Well, okay, so it's a couple things. So on social media, on IG, I'm Marshaun _ Facebook, Marshaun Olanio. YouTube, Marshaun Olanio. And those are the big three. If you're on LinkedIn, I'm under there as Marshaun Olanio as well. So first and last name. And I also want to plug this if I can, which is I have a 3S challenge where we work on some of the things that I mentioned earlier, which is your self-esteem, your self-confidence, and speaking softer to yourself. And I'm getting ready to begin one this coming week. So if you're a Black woman that's ready to start taking intentional action, where we can clarify why your self-esteem has tanked, why your self-confidence, why even you're a people pleaser, and why you speak harshly about yourself when nobody else is listening. And sometimes when they are in earshot, this is for you. So I'm ready to serve you. And I can give you the link here.
Yeah, I'll make sure I put it in the description box. If it's an easy link for them to get to by listening, you can share it here.
I'll share it. So it's bit.ly/3S challenge. And the S and C are capital. So 3S challenge. Yeah.
bit.ly/3S challenge.
Yes, challenge. Yes.
That's easy. Y'all can get to that. So make sure you go out and look that up. Go find Marshaun on social media. Listen, I learned a lot. I really want to keep this conversation going, but I want to respect y'all time. But maybe we might have to do this again, Marshaun.
I love it. Let's do it.
So, guys, thank you for tuning in to Numbers Don't Lie with me, Dr. Michele. It's been a pleasure. I hope you learned something, enjoyed yourself today. You can find me on all social media at Mogul Beginnings. That's MOGUL, Mogul Beginnings. You can go find me online, mogulbeginnings.com. Also, make sure you check us out on the Brownstone. Both Marshaun and I have shows on the Brownstone Podcasting Network. You can listen to us on Cityscape Radio. So go check us out on brownstoneworldwide.com. You can find Brownstone on Facebook as well. So you can find us if you want to find us. We're not hiding. at all. So reach out to us, and thank you again for tuning in, and I hope to see you next time.